Hey everybody, how are we all doing? It's Thursday evening at last. We've got one more day and then it's the weekend, eh? How is everybody? I've got a cup of tea here and I'm nearly finished it, so I'm going to actually try and make a conscious effort to finish my tea tonight whilst it's still hot. But you know what I'm like, we'll see how we get on. Who have we got? We've got the lovely, oh gosh, my chair keeps doing this thing where I need to keep adjusting the back so that I don't go way back, you know. We've got the lovely Sandra, whose birthday it was yesterday. Happy birthday again, Sandra. I hope that you had an amazing day. I saw your video um, that you posted this morning or this afternoon. I watched your video, so that was nice. And I'm glad you had a nice time. We've got the lovely Sarah, SL Wyman's Rock and Writing. She says, I may jump in after work, but won't be out for about half an hour after this starts. Would love to come on and say hi, so I'll try and pop on. If not, have a lovely day. So thank you very much, Sarah. I messaged you in the chat, but thanks very much. That was really nice of you to pop in and say hi anyway. And hopefully we see a wee bit of you later. Regina, hi Regina, how are you doing? Who else have we got here? Nancy from Macron's Intuition. Hi there, Nancy. How are things with you? And Tanya Riley. Hi, Tanya. Um, I don't recognise your name, Tanya. So if this is your first time, then welcome. Grab a cuppa. The banter and chit chat ones, we just kind of tend to have a wee chat, don't we? Don't we, people? Just a wee cozy catch up. And then after a while, we'll start slinging some cards. So welcome, Tanya. It's lovely to have you here. We've got Robin from Toadstool Tarot. He says it wouldn't be Thursday without a bit of elemental cartomancy. It's lovely to see you, Robin. I hope you're doing okay. We've got the lovely Selkie. Hi, Selkie. Hope you're doing okay. What else have I got here? The chat jumped. Should just get like a meme or something. I should just record myself saying, oh shit, the chat jumped. That way I wouldn't have to say it every time. So we were at Selkie, weren't we? Debbie from Aquarius Hill. Hi, Debbie. How are you doing? And Kristen Louise Tarot. Hi, Kristen. How are you? And we've got Deanne from Blue Crescent Tarot. Hi, Deanne. Justin is also still at work, like Sarah, but he's popping in to say hi. So, hey, Justin, it's lovely to see you. This is Justin's first day at his new job, people. So, wish him well. I sent you a message earlier on, Justin, but I hope that it's gone okay. Leander from Liminal Lark. Hi, Leander, how are you? And who else have we got here? And what's everybody up to? Has everybody been having a good day? Jackie Jacaranda. Hi, Jackie. How are you? Brittany Steffens. Hi, Brittany. First time watching one of my live videos. Oh, well, it's lovely to have you. Thanks very much for popping in. Who else have we got here? Mendy. I missed you earlier on, actually, Mendy. Sorry. Just seen your first message. How are you doing today? I think I've caught everyone so far. I'm doing not bad. Antoinette's here as well. Hi, Antoinette. How are things with you? Kristen says, aye, a wee cosy catch up. So next time I see you, Kristen, I want to hear you doing the Scottish accent. Kristen went to visit your mum early, so that you could be home in time to be here. Oh, that's nice. How's your mum doing? I hope she's doing all right today. Tanya, I only just discovered your channel. I'm quite shy too, so I don't often chat much. Happy to be here. Well, Tanya, you can chat as little or as much as you want. I don't mind people lurking. Just kind of watching without being much present in the chat. So you feel free to chat away when you feel like it, but just to watch when you want to as well. Let's see. Have I missed anyone? Has anyone slipped through the net? Debbie just got the Minalima version. Minalima version of Harry Potter. What's that, Debbie? Minalima? Am I saying that funny? Justin's client's taking a nap. Lucky them. Do you know what? I actually took a nap at lunchtime today. Like when I went down, Sandy wanted to put on Casty's YouTube to the TV, and Sandy watches Good Mythical Morning. You know those two guys? They're like the fourth highest YouTubers, I think. The fourth highest YouTubers. You know what I mean? Um, anyway, yeah, he likes to watch them, and I don't know. It's not really my thing. So yeah, I had a wee 15-minute snooze on the couch whilst I was on my lunch. Um, let's see, I saw Danielle from Tarot Trainees here. Hi, Danielle. She says her chat's froze. Refresh the page, Danielle. Maybe that'll help. Shadowed Woodland. Hello. Hope you're doing okay. And Brittany just woke up from a nap. Everyone's taking a nap today. Kristen, Mina Lima was the company that designed all the graphic art in the movies and all the graphics at the Harry Potter amusement parks. All right, okay. I didn't know that. I think I've caught up with the chat, which is pretty impressive for me if I do say so myself. If you don't mind me giving myself a wee pat on the back, it's not very often that I can catch up with you. The pop-up book version, right? Okay, I've got you of Philosopher's Stone. Cool. Right, okay. Oh, that's good. I hope you're enjoying it. Oh, look who it is. It's Mrs. Lord himself, Mr. Richard. How are you? Hope you're doing okay, Richard. And I hope that you're looking forward to the weekend. Although you're off this week, aren't you, Richard? Because you're a teacher, obviously. So, yeah, maybe you're not so much looking forward to the weekend. The weekends when you're off, you don't really. The weekend feels like the end of your holiday. I always get this feeling at 5 o'clock on a Friday when on a week that I'm off, but I'm like, oh, like my bonus time's gone. This is just the normal weekend now. Do you know what I mean? But a bonus is a bonus, I suppose. Tanya says, thank you for the warm welcome, everyone. You're very welcome. Richard is good, thank you. You're off for another week as well, but aren't you? Just a jammy wee shite. I feel as though there's an echo in here. An echo that there isn't usually. I suppose Sandy moved some boxes while he was painting, so maybe that's why. Strange. Anyway, before I forget, I wanted to just plug Brant's Kickstarter. So whilst we were live last Thursday, Brant launched his Kickstarter for the Moonbaby Tarot, and it's a recolouring of the Hoi Polloi, is that what it's called? It looks absolutely stunning, so it does. He achieved full funding within the first 7 hours, which, well, I was well impressed by, and so happy for him. So yeah, I noticed that last week I was live with Simon for our roundtable reading, and yeah, Brant had sent a message that I caught afterwards, so I went on and supported him. Supported him. What's the word? Pledged, backed him. Went on and backed him. I don't know why I felt the need to look at myself in the camera to remember. I went on and backed them afterwards, and then just went to sleep. And when I woke up in the morning, it was fully funded. So I was like, geez, oh. So it's now, well, what are we? So this is in Great Britain pounds, but the goal was 3,998, so 4 grand, 4,000. And we're at 13,143. So we're over 3 times fully funded. I'm saying Brant is over 3 times fully funded. He's met all three stretch goals. So yeah, he's done absolutely amazing. So well done to Bran. I've put the link in the chat. If anyone hasn't heard of it or hasn't seen it yet, then please follow the link and have a wee nosy and consider supporting them. Okay. So that's that. I think that was really the only thing that I particularly wanted to remember. Debbie says it is now living on my British phone box shelf with the rest of my Harry Potter merch. Were you in the live yesterday, Debbie? Did you see my Harry Potter ones that I showed whilst I was asking Sandra questions? Because I know that you're a bit of a Harry Potter geek, so you'd maybe have enjoyed that, trying to guess whose wand it was. Sandra's laughing because I said jammy wee shite. Well, he is. Imagine having the cheek to be off for 2 weeks and then just rub it all on our faces. Rub it in all of our faces. How rude. I'm only kidding. We love you really, Richard. Yeah, Sandra says, very pleased for Bran. I've backed this deck. Richard has been tidying and discovered the official Lordship pack. I have a crest. Oh, so you found it. You'll need to show it when you're live tomorrow. Robin says Kickstarter won't take PayPal. Do they not? I must have just paid with my card then. Can't even remember now. Spiritual Healing Tarot's here. Hi there. Hi there. How you doing? Hope you're doing okay. And the chat jumped. So Sandra's confirmed that they don't take PayPal. That is a shame. Mendy, I suggested to make another stretch goal for pink or orange edges, but I think he's ignoring me. I suppose I wonder, like, I don't even know if he's said what company he's having them printed through. Do you know what I mean? He must be going through a printing company. So I wonder who he's doing that through. But yeah, pink or orange edges. I suppose that'd be quite cool. Maybe feel a bit highlightery. I suppose that's the point in that kind of deck, isn't it? How does one decide to make a deck and packaging yourself versus using a company like Make Playing Cards? How do you decide? I don't know. I suppose if you were going to do it officially, like through, produce it through an actual printing company, you would need to like be confident that it was going to be successful, like that it was going to have backers. I suppose that's the point in Kickstarter, isn't it? And like enough people were going to want to get it and invest in it. Because you wouldn't, I mean, the company wouldn't want to take it on unless like they thought that it was going to. I've just realised that my phone for the table cam is actually in this camera. That's not very professional, is it? Oh well, I'll fix that for next time, eh? I'm not going to start messing with it just now. But yeah, I was just rambling there a bit. I think you got the point in what I was trying to say, Kristen. Tanya spent your tarot budget for the month on reserving your Spirit Keepers Tarot 3. Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of keeping my eye on that. And then when I got the email, there was just something in me that I didn't go for it. I didn't reserve it. So yeah, I don't know why. I'm probably going to regret it. But I've not pressed the buy button yet, but we'll see what happens. Kristen's rewarding yourself for doing mindful movement for 7 days straight with getting a new deck. Exciting. What deck? Tell us everything. Nerys is here. Hi, Nerys. How are you? Hope you're doing okay, lovely. And say hi to Caleb if he's kicking about as well. Tanya, what deck did you treat yourself to? Yeah. Oh, the uncommon tarot. Right, okay. I think I know what one that I think I've seen that. Um, what's the name of the creator again? It's like Shaheen something, or I saw him on a panel with Rachel Pollock, so I did. And a famous couple whose names have slipped my mind. Yeah. Anyway, I've seen him. I've seen him like kind of on I think it was like maybe a Facebook video or something. Yeah, and saying hi to anyone she's missed. She is playing mechanic and doing dishes. Oh, very nice. I'm saying very nice. I hate dishes. I hate doing dishes. It's one of my worst tasks. I don't enjoy it at all. Thank goodness we've got the dishwasher now. Caleb is there. He's about to go to school and he says hi. Oh, that's nice. Well, I hope he has a good day at school. Shaheen Miro, yeah, it's Shaheen, isn't it? I was worried that I'd got his name wrong there, but that's it. Cool. Well, there's a tag kicking about, guys, that I thought I might do whilst we were live. What time are we on? 9:20. Yeah, we've got time to do a tag, haven't we? It's this #formative decks that Kasia from Tarot Map and Patrick from, oh my goodness, someone tell me where Patrick's from. Where Patrick's from? What's the name of his channel? The Living Wheel. Got there in the end. Yeah, Patrick and Kasia kind of collaborated and made this tag. And it's basically just talking about the decks that have been so formative, i.e., that have kind of been meaningful in your tarot journey, is the way that I'm taking it. So I thought of a few. Oh, thanks, Tanya. I'd thought of a few that we could chat about. What's this? Is it Chris made me do it? I thought of a few that we could that I could like kind of tell you about that have been formative for me, I guess. And I would, I'd love for you to join in the chat and let me know what your formative decks would be. What I'll do, I'll switch it over so that you can see the table as well. Facing cards, that should be the right one. I'll move the keyboard because we don't really need that. The first one is pretty obvious. It's my very first tarot deck. It's the Smith-Waite, the original Rider-Waite tarot deck, Smith-Waite. This was the very first one that I got. Lots of people hate this deck just because of the kind of colours. Some of them a wee bit closer for you. The Queen of Cups. That's not focusing very well, which is quite annoying because I put the camera on continuous focus. And if I change it now, it's going to wobble for the next 5 minutes. But anyway, yeah, so this was my very first one. It's the one that I learned with. It's a definite, one of my favourites. So this was definitely a formative deck for me. I got into tarot when I was like about 8 or 9 years old. I went to Waterstones, which is like a bookshop here, And yeah, I got this. Well, not this very one, but this same deck. And yeah, I think that, this has got to be a formative deck for most people, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. Like maybe not this one, but like the Smith weight has got to be formative, for most. Um, I don't think anyone in our sphere hasn't heard of it. And I'd be surprised if there was anyone who isn't quite strongly influenced by the symbolism and the cards. I mean, you've heard me reading, and you know that I'll refer back to different decks and stuff. I'll say, oh, I know we're looking at this emperor here, but if you think about the Lightseer's emperor, he's holding a chess piece. I might make links back to different decks. And I think I'm subconsciously always making that link back to the Smith weight, um, albeit I probably don't mention it as much. What I've been doing, just what I've been busy with this week. In fact, that's something else I need to tell you about. I've been busy with. I've started kind of putting together my notes for the Marielle study sessions that we're looking at doing. And I was looking at the magician, and in the magician the Marielle magician. In fact, I should be able to find it reasonably quickly because it should be near the top. Yep, there he's there. So this is the magician from the Marielle. And you see he's holding this thing. It's called the tetragrammaton. Oh, no, not that's not it. It's Metatron's cube, isn't it? That's what it's called. Oh, anyway, shows how well I've been studying. Basically, that kind of links back when I was kind of writing out my notes. I was like, you can link that back to the 4 items on the table. Um, the word for cube comes from, so I think it's like ka, which is square, and ba, which is house. Ka square, ba is house in Arabic, but when you trace it to the Egyptian meanings, it means life and soul. So essentially, the magician is handing you your life and soul. He's handing you your tools. And when you link back to the Smith weight, that's the 4 items. It's the wand, the pentacle, the cup, the sword. So yeah, I found myself like kind of almost without meaning it, linking back to the Smith weight. And I suppose that takes me nicely on to the Marielle. This is definitely a formative deck for me. It's taught me so much. Just I find myself thinking about it all the time. Like I talk about the cards, particularly the minors. Like the Six of Swords is one that I always talk about from the Marielle. The Five of Pentacles. Um, there's several of them. I just can't remember them all at this particular moment in time. I just think it's such an influential deck. It's packed with symbolism and meaning, and it doesn't try to emulate any of the 3 systems. I was watching I've watched this interview before, but Kasia from Tarot Map has done an amazing interview with Marie White, who's the creatrix or create. Yeah, I think she prefers the term creatrix of this deck. And yeah, she says that she wasn't trying to like kind of copy or in any way use any of the 3 systems. She was basically just trying to take the tarot back to its bare bones, back to first principles, essentially using numerology and elements, which is, it's my thing. That's what I love. Sorry, I know that there's glare, but it's actually, I don't even have my lamp on. It's coming from the ceiling light, and only one of them is working. So who knows what's going on there? I love this. This is the Queen of Swords. So I do really love this deck. I'm conscious I'm ignoring the chat now, actually. Sorry. Let's go back and see what we've been saying. So that was so it's funny. Robin just sent me a copy of one of my formative decks today, The Golden Tarot by Cat Black, says Mendy. Interesting. I don't think I've heard of that, if I'm totally honest with you. V. Kestrel enjoys laundry. Kristen says my mother-in-law does too. V. I detest it. Did your mum buy that one? Chris says Robin. So my mum bought me my first deck, but this actual physical copy wasn't my first one. I don't still have my first one. And no, she didn't buy me that one. This is the Six of Swords, actually. This is one of the cards that I always kind of think back to. So this is basically the Angel Raphael, the Archangel Raphael. And he's guiding the different aspects of the self home, essentially. This is is it the id, the child self, and the animal self? It's basically just kind of getting your head in order, getting your thoughts in order. That's the kind of thing. He's got the rod. Now, it might look like a caduceus at first glance, but it's actually the rod of, is it Asclepius, the god of the healers, the healer god, which is what you see on like ambulances and like doctors' vehicles and stuff. I think sometimes there's a mistake that's commonly made where we think it's the caduceus, but it's actually, I want to say Asclepius, but can someone correct me if I'm wrong, or just put in the chat what the name of that god is? This lovely hanged man. So Marielle, definitely an influential deck for me. Excuse me. So what else are we saying? I saw Naomi's popped in. Hi Naomi, how are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. That's right, I got to Robin's question. Antoinette says, I'm a heathen with these. And they all look the same. Is that these, Antoinette, or the Marielle? Mendy says it's definitely mine, that exact version. Nerese says, I learnt on this deck. See, now this is my problem when I don't keep up with the chat. I'm not sure which one you're all talking about. I'm assuming that you're meaning this, Nerese. But it would be interesting if you learnt on the Marielle. If that's true, I didn't know that, and love to have a conversation with you about it. Tanya says, my first deck was a random Marseille deck that I bought from a cartoon sale when I was about 11. Wow. Yeah, how did you get on with that? I would imagine, see, I always say, like, it depends on what type of learner you are. Whether Marseille or Rider-Waite Smith is the best thing to start on for you. But yeah, I would have thought, like, as an 11-year-old, a Marseille deck would be a difficult one to start on. So it would. As you can see, the next deck that I'm pulling out here is the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. I love this deck, so I do. It's taught me so much. This Five of Blades right at the top there, this is one of the kind of cards that I love in this deck, and it really kind of challenged me and made me think differently about the Five of Blades or the Five of Swords. Before, I had always just seen it about, winning and losing, and I hadn't really done any in-depth work on the Five of Blades. But when I look at this, it's like, it makes you think like the chefs in the kitchen having an argument, as we all have this impression that chefs do. And this chef has clearly won the argument. He's turned these two away, but because he's let his ego get the better of him, he's now got like 3 times as much veg to chop and to prep. So he's won the battle in terms of the actual argument itself, but in terms of the ego, that's a battle that he's very much lost. And now it's just about what work have you created yourself, what difficult situation have you actually created for yourself because of that. and it just kind of stresses the importance of working on the ego, not killing it, not completely getting rid of it, because the ego is something that we need, but just learning to tame it a bit. I think just learning to be in control of it and not let it be in control of us. So definitely one of my favorite cards in the deck. But even just like looking at the artwork, you can see I've trimmed this down to just kind of the artwork and the titles. I've edged it in red. But just the artwork in this deck is stunning. And as silly as it sounds, and I would slag myself off if I heard, if I was a third party hearing myself say this, but I feel as though this is one of my most accurate decks. Um, Even though I know that that's daft to say, I just feel as though it always gives really spot on readings. So for that reason as well, I really like it. Sarah, hi Sarah, by the way, says my first was the Rider-Waite Smith as well. The version that was around in 97 or 98 with the blue backs, with gold cards. Okay, interesting. Brittany says not my favourite deck at all. So again, I think because I'm a bit behind, I'm struggling to keep up. V Kestrel, I'll be honest, it's one really formative for me because it's the primary reference, but I actually don't enjoy using it as much as other decks. That's definitely one of my favourite cards in the Marielle, says Mendy. Was that the Six of Swords as well? Yeah. Tetragrammaton is the name of God in the Old Testament. Oh, right, okay. I thought that those spelled out Jehovah, which is where we get Jehovah from, Jehovah's Witnesses. And it's like a formula as well. So the Y is like fire, the first H is water, air, earth. I got that from 78 Degrees of Wisdom. My first deck after the Rider-Waite Smith was Everyday Witch Tarot. Now, do you know that's one that I know that Robin really likes that deck. I know that Robin really likes the tower in that deck, and it's one that he talks about. And I still need to actually work out. I still need to kind of get that one. It's one that I've kind of kept my eye on from afar, but I've not really made the jump to get it. Oh, Robin got a delivery, everyone. We want to know what that is. So Tanya says, I really want to study the Marielle. So I'll talk more about that in a wee minute, Tanya, but we're planning on putting together a Marielle study group. So stay tuned and, you're more than welcome to join. Maybe I should have gotten Marielle from my reward deck so that I can partake in the study group. I'm going to have fear of missing out. I mean, it's still available on Amazon and, if you want to get it. First deck that I got was a really ugly version of the Rider-Waite Smith. Don't have it anymore, says Kristen. Glad you're doing good, Naomi. Sarah says it was Hermes that had the Caduceus. Yes, it was. In the Marielle, the Caduceus is used. It's one of the symbols that we see reoccurring throughout the deck. If you look at the Fool in the Marielle, the Fool himself, along with the two dragons, the two, oh gosh, is Enki? The two dragons that represent him, it makes a Caduceus. So there's kind of the symbolisms kind of here, there, and everywhere throughout the Marielle, and not necessarily just associated with like Hermes. But did you know this? So the Caduceus is like a transformative tool, right? It performs transformative magic, which is why it's a good association for the Fool. But it also symbolises commerce and partnership, which is why we see it in the Two of Cups. Now, the reason for that is this is maybe like really obvious information that was only me that didn't know it before, but the caduceus was given to Hermes by Apollo in exchange for the lyre that was made out of the tortoise shell. And that's why it's a symbol of like kind of commerce and partnership, exchange, that kind of thing. So yeah, and I think that's why we see it in the Two of Cups, to kind of that idea of partnership and mutual exchange. I think this is my last. I probably missed out something really important. What I would say is the deck that I'm going to, when I come on to do readings, Tarot of the She, that is fast becoming a formative deck for me, because I think it's absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't be without it now that I've got it. But yeah, you know what I'm like with my Lightseers. That's definitely it's my soul deck. It's definitely a formative deck for me. It's one that I'm always referring back to. Love this deck. Antoinette, the medic alert bracelets have it. Anyone remember the allergy bracelets? Yeah, I remember I remember seeing them. Yeah. Nerisse says it was the Rider-Waite-Smith, but I've recently got the Mary L. I would love to learn more about it. Again, tune in. Stay tuned, and I'm going to, once I've kind of finished showing this deck, just so I'm only concentrating on one thing at once, I'll tell you what I was going to say about the Mary L. thing. So my first deck was the Witches Tarot, but I never really used it, says Naomi. My first Rider-Waite-Smith was the original Rider-Waite-Smith. So is that, you mean the one that I've got? Jackie's first deck was Forest of Enchantment, gifted by Elle. Second deck was the CS Tarot, which remains my favourite. Also gifted by a tarot friend. Oh, that's sweet. And Diane's here. Hi, Diane. Where are you? With Rush Cottage. There we go. Says, hi, Chris. Happy Friday Eve. Happy Friday Eve to you too. It's lovely to see you. I hope you're doing okay. V says, Diane, haha, laundrophiles unite. I actually find it kind of meditative. Meditative. I put too many tis in there. Meditative. That sounds better, doesn't it? Tanya says, I never really read with the deck seriously. I just played with them with my friends when I was about 16. So I came back to tarot and got the Druid Craft. And that's the deck that I first learned to properly read with. Yeah, Druid Craft is actually one that I got recently. So it is. It's a lovely deck, so it is. So it is. I say that far too much, don't I? Right, let's see. Let's just quickly catch up with this chat. Mendizovsky, need to run. Sorry, I can't stick around and hear Chris read tonight. But it's been nice chatting, and have a good day. Well, see you later, Mendy. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening. Antoinette says, I was given that John D deck in 1995. Never used it though. Deviant Moon was my first deck that I began with in the companion book. The Deviant Moon companion book is amazing. Like, can't flaunt it. No. What am I trying to say? Can't wow. What's the expression that I'm trying to use? Well, anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. I can't like say anything bad about it. Let's see. Okay, Debbie, my first deck was a yellow box Plaidbacks. It sat in the drawer for years. Just started seriously wanting to learn to use it about 2 to 3 years ago. Then I met all you lovely people last year on YouTube, and my tarot obsession has grown exponentially. Yeah, I know what you mean. Robin's back. Got 2 decks from Make Playing Cards. One a backup of Eyes Wide Tarot, and the other is a reproduction of the Rider-Waite-Smith by Ted Veach that improves on the clarity and the colour of the study deck. Well, no doubt you'll do a walkthrough, Robin, so I look forward to seeing it. Sue has a Marielle first edition, but I'm thinking of getting the current version rather than cut the borders off of the first. I can live with the card image differences. Yeah, I've got the first edition of the Marielle, and I did cut the borders. To be honest, I didn't do it very well. So, yeah, that getting the second edition is probably your best bet. Brittany says, I'm a creeper in stock YouTube channels who are on lives. Kristen, did I see you mention you got a new deck? And if so, right, okay, I think I've managed to catch up and get to the bottom. So before I forget, what I'm actually in terms of the Marielle study group, I was going to make a video, just like a quick couple of minutes video, just announcing basically what my intentions are with it. So I think I've probably said before, I'm going to do both. I'm going to do a Zoom and I'm going to do a live. And that way there will be something for everyone. I'll probably do the Zoom. I'm thinking a Sunday afternoon before Tarot Playdate. So maybe at about 4 p.m. my time, GMT. And probably lasts 2 hours or something. So 4 to 6 GMT, which Eastern time would be 11 till 1. And, Pacific would be 11, 8 till 10. And I'll let you work out your own time from that. But that would be the intention with the Zoom. Okay. So the Zoom, looking at possibly a Sunday once a month, 4 p.m. for the Zoom. For the live, what I'll do is just one of my Thursday evening lives will be for the Marielle study. So what I'm thinking is I'll do the last Thursday of the month will be for the Marielle study group, and the Sunday before that will be the Zoom. Okay, so once a month for each. It means it's not clashing with Tarot Playdate on the Sunday. I don't think it's clashing with anything that we would normally do on a Sunday, is it? Because I know that whenever if I've done premieres, I've done them on a Sunday around about that time. So yeah, that's my intention. Nerys says I can do a 3 a.m. Zoom. So Nerys, this is why I'm doing like the Zoom at like say my 4 p.m. and the Facebook Live is like this time, so like 9 until 11. It shows that there's something that will suit everyone in terms of what your preference is and your time zone. So each one of us, there should be one of those times where it's during our awakening hours, wakened up hours, if that makes sense. I don't think there's very many people that are like kind of, in those in between time zones, like where none of them would suit. So yeah, that's the plan. And I think the first hour, so each will be aiming for 2 hours. I think the first hour will probably be studying the symbolism in the cards, and we'll maybe try and aim for like, shall we say, 4 cards per session, because I would like to get to a point where when we're doing the minors we can do like the 4 aces 1 month, and then the 4 twos the next month, do it that way. For the majors we'll maybe cut it down to like 2 or 3 per month, so that's the first hour, and then the second hour it'll just be like kind of if anyone's been to our Marseille study group where we just have random sample questions and then pull cards for it, that's essentially what I'm planning on doing for the second bit of it. And it means that we're learning the symbolism, we're learning the theory bit, but we're also learning by doing it. We're learning by practicing, by reading the cards. So yeah, that's basically what it's going to look like now. As if you've missed any of what I said there, I do plan on doing a quick video just explaining all of that. If anyone can think of any obvious kind of clashes and the times that I've picked, then let me know. But yeah, other than that, anyone is welcome. Spread the word, I would say, but don't be careful what Facebook groups you're talking about it in, because I know that certain groups, and completely support this. Certain Facebook groups prefer to keep it to the channel that the Facebook group is for, and I don't want to. I'm always careful to stick to those rules. So just be careful if you're putting it in any groups. But other than that, yeah, spread the word, let people know. Everyone is welcome. You can come to both if you want. You can just come to one of them. You can come to the Zoom 1 month, go to the Facebook Live the next. There's no hard and fast rules, to be honest with you. It will be an absolute pleasure to see anyone and everyone there that wants to come. So yeah, Kristen, I didn't say when it was starting, did I? So hopefully I'm going to start it this month. So yeah, I think that's in a couple of weeks' time, isn't it? I think the last Thursday is something like the 29th. So the Sunday before that will be when it all kicks off. So I've started kind of putting together my notes and stuff, and yeah, that's the plan. So yeah, what do we all think? By the way, questions for the cards. If you're wanting read, please stick your questions in the chat. Be helpful if you put them in capitals, or if not, failing that, if you tag me at Elemental Cartomancy so that I can see them. And yeah, we'll read your cards. I'm using Arrow of the She. This is an amazing deck, by the way. I'm absolutely loving this. I've been using it all week. And it's just, well, we'll see. It is a thinker. What I would say is, when I've been using it for my readings of the day, I've had the 3 cards in front of me all day, and each time I look at them, I see something different. And it's one of those ones, sometimes you've got to spend a wee bit of time with the images and thinking about how they go together. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on using it for like this style of readings. Let me just quickly go back and have a look at the chat. Can't fault it. Thank you, Sue. And hi, by the way. I hope you're doing okay. Sarah says, chilling after work and getting kitty cuddles while hanging with the Tarot fam. Good way to end the workday. It's a smashing way to end the workday. That sounds amazing. Just ordered the Uncommon Tarot, but haven't received it. It was out of stock, so it might be a while. Oh, that's a shame. Tanya, definitely interested in doing a Marielle study group. Am I way behind? I think I kind of am, because there's Neresa's comment saying 3 a.m. Zoom. Antoinette, talking to Brittany, sorry. Danielle, my format and 1 sun and moon, because it's my first true love. 2 slow tap. Oh, your formative decks are right. 1, the sun and moon, because it's your first true love. 2, the slow tarot, because your first understanding of awesome card stock, and a vintage Rider-Waite Smith. The first Rider-Waite Smith that felt good in my hands. I tried 4 others. Right, sorry, that took me a while. I was being slow there, wasn't I? thinking about the tin one. Reasonable price. Naomi says, I've been here for I've been here for around 4 years, taking it slowly. Nice, excited, sounds very cool, can't wait. Looking forward to this, Chris, says Nancy. Sounds like a plan, says Sue. Sounds good. Can you do the she too, says Antoinette. Answered the question about when it's starting, and then Antoinette's asked a question about your business. Okay. So Kristen won't be able to do this month. Going to do a short video explaining the Marielle study group. Right, cool. Thank you, Diane. Tarot of the She would be a formative deck for me too, says Tanya. Okay. So how can I be successful with my business? Antoinette asks. So let's have a wee look. We've got Dreamer Prince. Now Dreamer is the suit of air. Oops, it'd help if it was on the table. It's because I'm used to like having to be a wee over here for the table cam, but because the way I've got it set up, it's a bit different. This is essentially like the Knight of Swords. Okay, this is a really kind of active card. It shows an active mind. I can see that there's a lot of thoughts going on just now, and you can kind of see that in the symbolism with all these birds. There's a lot of positivity in this card. We can see the kind of sun's shine. It almost looks like the Dreamer Prince's face is the sun. So there's a lot of positive energy coming off of you, but it might just feel like there's a lot of, there's a large price to pay. There's a lot of energy that's having to go into producing those positive results. Let's see what the advice card is, because that I think is where that's going to be the key of the reading. And we've got the Elder. Elder being that kind of Hierophant energy. You know, don't feel like everything needs to be, like your way or the highway. Don't feel like everything needs to be completely fresh, new. There's nothing wrong with looking at similar businesses and seeing how they've been successful in the past. And that seems to be the very strong recommendation here. Take advice from people that have done it before. Look at those successful businesses that have done it in the past, and really kind of see how you can fit. Now, it's not to say look at them and just copy them. That's not the idea here. But look at them, break them down. What bits, what pieces of information can you learn from them? What do you think that they do really well, and can you see why they're doing that really well? Is that something that you can take inspiration from? Is it something that you can emulate within your own business? Is there some way that you can learn from their success? For me, the Hierophant is very much about, we associate it with tradition, don't we? It's like passing down information of how it's been done before, but I'm talking about the Hierophant now, and this is the Elder. But when we think about the Hierophant, we think about the way we can't help it. We think about the church. We think about the church passing down information, those traditions. But just as the church and these kind of institutions pass down positivity, they also pass down a lot of negative shit and corruption. Okay. And you need to get into your Dreamer Prince mode. You need to kind of get into this Knight of Swords mode and really discern, right, these are the things that I want to take from that. These are the things that aren't going to work. These are the things that I want to leave behind. There's going to be positives and negatives to everything. And it's about you being able to kind of differentiate between the two. All right. The outcome for you. So we've got Pan, which is the equivalent to the devil in this deck. What I would say is be careful about bending over backwards in order to get what you want. Be careful about purely following desire. There needs to be an element of risk-benefit analysis. You need to look at, so to me, So I'll talk about the Chariot card for a wee second, right? We've got the white horse and the black horse and the Chariot. And I know we see that duality, played out in quite a lot of the cards in the tarot, but particularly in the Chariot, we've got that white horse and that black horse. For me, they represent the white horse is like your, that response, that social responsibility, right? That's the side of yourself that wants to do what's right for the greater good, and kind of almost put yourself to one side and kind of be very kind of righteous and just do what's best for everyone. And then you've got the dark horse, and that is the part of yourself that's, it's your carnal desires, it's your instincts, it's your base desires, and it's the part of yourself that just wants to follow those, follow those desires, those instincts, do something for yourself for a change. Is that kind of feeling. You get that where you're like, do you know what? I'm going to spend some money on myself for a wee change, or I'm going to do something for me. This is just for me to treat myself. That is quite rightfully, more often than not, quite rightfully, your dark horse kind of surfacing and saying, right, it's time to do something for you. Okay. Now with Pan, and I'll say the devil as well because it's a similar message in Pan. And the devil, Pan, I think, is like kind of the god of the wild self and desire and all that kind of thing. With Pan, the dark horse kind of takes over a wee bit. It becomes all about following those desires, those carnal desires. You lose an element of risk assessment. You lose that kind of, right, is this sensible? Am I doing this? Is it, what is this going to, how's this going to play out? We don't really ask ourselves that when we're in devil energy. We kind of tend to just go with it and do what we want. And you can see the figure in this card is like bent over backwards by the god Pan. Now, she looks as though she's having a great time there, but in the morning, I can tell you she's going to have a hell of a sore back. Okay, so that's kind of like how I see that. I think that it's about really kind of using that dreamer prince energy, using your intelligence in order to when you come up against this advice, discern what you want to take from it and what you want to leave. Be careful because coming up, it does look as though you might be heading in a direction that might just kind of throw caution to the wind a wee bit, perhaps more than what you would like. Now, sometimes we need a wee bit of devil energy. Kind of in the example that I just used, sometimes we just need to treat ourselves. Those desires, those base desires, they've allowed people in the past, they've allowed people to do amazing, amazing things that the world would not be the same without. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with a bit of devil energy every now and then, and this could be a symbol that you're going to really kind of you're going to be able to kind of make a breakthrough and push through. But be cautious because it can also be a sign that that there's difficult times up ahead. So yeah, I think that's how I see that reading, Antoinette. I hope that that was helpful, and I hope that it resonates and makes sense. So Nancy from Macron's Intuition is asking if there's any messages from your guides. Let's have a wee look then. Oh, Diane, you're a wee star. Thank you so much. Okay. Right, so let's see if we can get a message for Nancy from her guides. Oops. Okay, Dreamer 6. Hanged Man. And the World. So the way I'm reading this, Nancy, the way that I see this, you're in a bit of a difficult position, or you recently have been, or just kind of feeling a wee bit under the cosh, just emotionally, mentally, psychologically. This Six of Swords, it's kind of a indicative of difficult times in the past. But it suggests that you're in a stage right now where you're moving to calmer waters, you're moving to a calmer headspace. Remember what I was saying about that Mediel Six of Swords, it's the angel Raphael's, is the healer of God. And he's all about like kind of guiding those different aspects of the self back into unity. Okay, it could be that you find yourself going to therapy. It could be that you're just kind of spending some time away from a bit of a caustic situation. But whatever it is, there is some healing to be done, and there is some healing being done. Now, we've got the Hanged Man coming up straight after, and I'm going to try and let you see this Hanged Man up close. So see what you can see here. That's his foot, right? His foot is caught in a branch from the tree. Okay, now we can see the great cliff of the She is in the sky, and that's pulling the Hanged Man into it. Okay, so it kind of speaks, to the journey to the next card, right? It kind of like it's forecasting that death card which is coming up. You're being pulled towards this portal of, that's going to change your world, but there's something. It feels as though you're kind of stuck, right? What these two cards suggest to me is that, see this Six of Swords situation, this easing, it might feel, it might not feel like Six of Swords. It might not feel like you're going in the right direction. It might feel like you're being sucked up into some weird dynamic, and you're just like, I don't know if I'm coming or going. I don't know if this is the right thing that I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going in the right direction. There's change coming up, and it's maybe a bit intimidating, but and this is the biggest message and the most positive message that you can get. You've got the World card coming up. Now, it's so difficult for me as a reader to even tell you how amazing. I mean, you probably know because you imagine you read cards yourself, but it's difficult for a reader to actually like state effectively how amazing this card is to come up, because it's kind of, you've maybe heard me talk about the unknowability of God, right? Like none of us have the capacity to understand that kind of being, that kind of entity. So we kind of we almost scale it down. Any understanding that we have of deity is a scaled down version that we understand in our kind of three-dimensional existence, brains understanding. And it's the same with the world. The world is like the full, achievement of full potential. It's like fulfillment. It's coming to the end of the journey. You feel as though you've achieved everything that you want to achieve. You feel fulfilled. You feel happy. You feel elated. All of this positive feeling that comes with this card, and it's this massive kind of just relief. And yeah, it's just such a good card. In this particular depiction of the world, we see on one side we see the sun, on the other side we see the moon. So that kind of speaks to like different aspects again, like the conscious and the unconscious. Everything is aligned. So where the Dreamer Six, we were talking about kind of bringing those aspects of the self into alignment. Here, they're not only aligned, they're all singing from the same hymn sheet. They're all kind of pushing you forward. They're achieving your goals. They're all working together at optimum capacity, if that makes sense. So I feel as though you're in a bit of a difficult situation just now, or you're just coming out of a difficult situation. What I want to say, or what your guides want to say, is that you're going in the right direction. Okay, you've got this world energy coming up, and it's going to be amazing. I can't overstate enough how great this is going to be when it comes. So that's what I see for you, Nancy. I hope that that's helpful, and I hope that it makes sense. Okay, I think we've got Nerys up next, haven't we? So, dynamic between me and my best mate after recent visit. Okay. What? Oh dear. Thought my video had froze there, but we seem to be okay. What I might actually do, I know I don't use this very often, but I might actually do a kind of a like past, present, future type thing here, Nerys. So I want to look at like kind of what past events are feeding into the situation. I want to look at how you're feeling now, and I want to look at where the situation's kind of a going. So let's just kind of do a wee cut for you. Okay, so we've got Maker Prince coming in to start off with. So this is the essentially like the Knight of Pentacles. Um, and it's the gift of connection. Okay, so we're looking at connection. Um, Speed is maybe a bit of a, not the drug. Like the pace, there's maybe a bit of an issue with pace because if there's one thing about the Maker Prince, it's like in amongst the other princes, he's like the slowest. He's the most kind of, he's probably the outcast of the four if you were to kind of line them all up. He's the kind of one that just kind of prefers to take his time. He likes to kind of make sure that make sure that he's doing everything right. Every move that he makes, it's like a game of chess. Every move that he makes has a purpose, you know. Um, we see the kind of this moon energy in the background. Maybe that suggests a bit of, you know, unfamiliar territory. When we're in that moon energy, it can be a difficult time. But we've got the gift of connection here. We've got the Maker Prince. It's not inherently a negative, card. Let's see where we are now in comparison to that. So we've got the Emperor. It's really kind of strong, fiery energy coming in. Now it still feels like a nighttime card, but you can see we've obviously got this. I don't know if you want to call it a solar energy, but like this kind of fiery, Aries type energy. Um, there's a bit of a, I suppose, a bit of a clash between the, the personality of the two. The Maker Prince is kind of a wants to take his time. Everything that he does has a purpose. They are sort of aligned because the Emperor is kind of like, he's the king of the castle, He kind of sits back in his throne and makes sure that the entire kingdom is running and running properly. He's maybe got a bit of an issue with control. He might come across as being quite over controlling. But in general terms, the Maker Prince is going to achieve the Emperor's purpose. The only issue might come where if he's not, what am I trying to say? The speed that he's doing it at, he might not be doing it kind of fast enough for him, if that's making sense. Um, let's see what the future card is, and then let's see what kind of stuff. We've got Warrior King coming in, which is like the King of Wands. So that is like the kind of unite. It's the kind of unity of this fiery energy, but also this kind of calculative and slower, calmer, more, purpose-filled energy. Um, both of those kind of different energies are united in the King of Wands or the Warrior King. Now it says here gift of glory. So the king is very much, the King of Wands or the Warrior King is one of those people that, everyone looks to for an example. Everyone kind of, I can't think of the word, but just everyone, not worships, that feels too strong a word, but just everyone respects him and everyone wants to know what his opinion is. And if they've got a problem, then they'll kind of go to him. So I feel as though I'm speaking very much, this is quite a metaphorical reading that's coming in. We've started out in this kind of nighttime energy. We've ended up very much during the day. Um, I mean, given the, just the questions, just the fact that you've asked the question, Reese, I feel myself just want to reassure you, if you are finding yourself in a bit of a difficult time, which, again, this lunar energy might suggest, the sun is coming out. The sun will come out eventually. There's a bit of maybe a slight clash between the two energies, just in some respects, but we see that very much being united at the end here. So I don't know if that answers the question. I don't know if that's of any help to you. What? Right. Okay. So you said, yeah, sounds like him. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if that resonates, because I don't know. I'm not quite. I feel myself want to go deeper. I feel as though I'm speaking too much in metaphors and maybe not speaking enough to the actual situation. It totally does help. Right. Okay. Okay. That's good. But give us a wee shout, Nerys. If you fancy looking at it a wee bit more. I'd be happy to. Let's see. So we had Nerys's question. So Sarah would just like to see what the cards feel I need to know. Do love this deck and plan to get it at some point. Of course, let's have a wee look for you. Oh, so how is everyone getting on? I feel as though when I get to the kind of readings part of the live, my attention comes away from the chat very much, and goes on to the cards, just because obviously you want to kind of concentrate on the cards and giving a good reading. But I don't like to feel like I'm ignoring people, So I hope that you're all hanging in there and having fun, kind of chatting pretty much to each other. Okay, what do the cards want Sarah to know? Right. Well, we've got the actual moon coming in, Sarah. So this is another reading where right away, just looking at it, we've got all this kind of lunar nighttime energy in the first two cards, and then in the last card, the sun's coming up. So I think what I want to say immediately is, if you find yourself going through difficult territory right now, the sun is coming up. It's not going to last forever. You're going to feel back on top of things eventually. It's just a case of riding out this kind of lunar moon energy that you find yourself in. In the moon card, we've got all the different phases of the moon are depicted. It's a beautiful image. It's not very easy to see here, but in the person's reflection, they actually look different from what they are. So they're looking in the water at the reflection on the water surface, and they're seeing this kind of blonde creature. And there's actually all of these kind of ghostly type figures. I wonder if I can kind of hold it a wee bit closer. You can kind of see them there. I'm scared to mess with the camera in case I fuck things up, but you can kind of see it there. There's all of this all this presence behind her. So she's very much feeling the presence, some sort of presence with her. Now, that could be a positive thing. It could just be saying, you're feeling the presence of, loved ones, ancestors that have moved on. It could also be a bit of a negative thing, it does suggest that you're not seeing the situation as it actually is. I mean, as it actually is, how often have you heard me say, be careful about trusting your five senses? And sometimes we just need to listen to our intuition. That's quite often a message that comes with the moon. But with that said, we then come on to a dreamer card, which is a swords air card. and it's Dreamer 7 nonetheless. And that suggests the need for you to kind of get your head in the game. Not just get your head in the game, but it's time to think outside the box. Sorry, I just punched the mic, so you probably get a big noise in your ear there. It's time to really kind of think outside the box. Think about your approach to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve at the moment. Again, we've got the moon energy, but if you look, you can see these kind of waves coming off the moon. Sorry about the light. You can see these waves coming off the moon. That suggests to me that the moon is really if you let it, it can really kind of distort your sense of what's going on around about you. We see, so this is like the Seven of Swords, and it's depicted as this kind of punishment happening. And the key word is a coward betrays. So again, indicative of quite a difficult situation. It might suggest that you feel as though everyone's against you, the odds are stacked against you. You might feel quite, as if you're being done an injustice, because we see this tree here, and this person's hiding behind the tree. So that makes me wonder, what are they up to? Are they the person that truly deserved to? Well, it looks like they're having their hands cut off, the kind of thief's punishment. But it's interesting that you see yourself surrounded by people in the reflection here, and then in this card, it looks as though you are surrounded by people. So maybe this is what you're seeing in the moon, in the surface of the water, and this moon energy. Maybe the way you're looking at the situation, it's like you're being punished for something. People are ganging up on you, and you feel as though you're being punished for something that's not your fault. Okay, if you're feeling like that, then Dreamer 7 is a card of using your intellect to get through the situation. It's a time to think outside the box and think about how you're approaching it. Don't approach it in the usual way. You need to be cunning. You need to be, really quite sly sometimes. Coming in at the end, we've got Maker Queen, which is the Queen of Pentacles, and it's the gift of healing is the kind of key phrase that we have here. So coming in after that kind of what feels like quite a difficult time, I feel like this is really welcome. We've got these healing waters being poured from the hands. We've got this very kind of earthy, grounded energy, and we have the sun coming up behind. So a stark change from what we're seeing represented here is what's coming up for you. So if none of that makes sense, Sarah, then at least you've had to listen to me waffle for 5 minutes, so I do apologize. If it does make sense and you do find yourself in this moon energy, then there's reassurance for you that things are going to get better. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing here. Hope that helped. Right, who else have we got? I think we had another question, didn't we? V. Kestrel, could I get a general reading for next week or for the next week? You sure can. And then I've got Brittany as well. V. Kestrel's avoiding the Marielle because you want to avoid the temptation of another deck. Fair enough. Well, if you ever so the YouTube lives will obviously be so I think when I was talking about the Marielle study group in the early days and we were talking about the Zoom, I had mentioned possibly recording the Zoom and putting it on the channel, but I don't think I'll do that because it means that it means it's open to people who want to come to the Zoom but don't want to be on YouTube. And there's no point in having a YouTube live and a Zoom. So yeah. So just to clarify that. Okay, I'm reading for the week ahead for V. Kestrel. Okay. So I do a 4-card week ahead reading. So this might look a bit different from the previous readings. I swear this Hanged Man just loves itself because I've had the Hanged Man come up for the past 2 days, and that is the second time that it's come up just this evening. So it is. So the Hanged Man in this deck, like, seriously has something to say for itself. It's constantly coming up. So there we see it. I talked about it earlier. We find ourselves being pulled towards this portal. The great glyph of the She is supposed to be a portal between our human world and the world, the world of the She. So we feel ourselves being pulled towards this portal that's going to lead to change. It's going to lead to a different land. Now, unfortunately, we're caught on the tree where, our foot is caught on one of the branches. And this is where we really need to kind of make the decision, how far am I willing to go? What am I willing to sacrifice in order to get from where I am now to where I need to be? You know, it suggests that there's maybe some element of sacrifice needed in order to make that transition, in order to get to your next step, which is, the death card, which is kind of after the Hanged Man. So if you're looking towards positive change, then you might need to think about what it is that you need to, what do you need to give up, or what practices need to be preened in order to achieve that. But the first card is a strengths card, so this is telling us what your strengths are, V. So that would suggest that you're in a good position to make those decisions. The next card tells us where your limitations or your weaknesses lie. We've got Dreamer 2. Okay, so this is deciding in what direction to go in. Okay, this is weighing up your options, and purely using that, the down to earth intellect, taking emotion out of the situation. Now, the Hanged Man is a card that's associated with Pisces, and anyone that knows a Pisces, not thinking of any Pisces in particular, Justin, but anyone that knows a Pisces knows that their strength is their emotions. There's a lot of strength that lies in their connections, and um, they can be in a really positive way. They can be quite emotional people. Dreamer 2 kind of asks us to put our emotions to one side, take our emotional selves out of the situation, and use our intellect to discern the way forward. That can be really difficult for Pisces water signs, people who do find themselves being um, quite emotional. So that suggests that there's maybe a wee bit of trouble there. And hopefully, armed with that knowledge, given that I'm telling you, there's decisions to be made, and you're maybe going to have to kind of think about them with your head and not so much with your heart. Hopefully, just that that it's going to kind of forearmed is forewarned, I think is what I'm trying to say. The next card is an asset. So this is something that you've got that can, something you've got under your belt, or some force acting for you, that's going to help. Now, we've got the Tower coming up as an asset, and in the Tower card, the depiction is this mask that's been blasted off of the person's face. Now, what's interesting, right? So the Hanged Man is like, right, what are we giving up? It's like there's a sacrifice needed. We need to give something up. What do you think you need to give up? And oh gosh, my table camera's just gone kaput. Oh, we're back. Never mind. What do we need to give up in order to make it to the next step? The next card, we see what actually looks to be a mask. It looks to be a mask that's split between, it talks about the different aspects of the self, and we need to make a choice. Okay. And the next card, we see this mask being blasted off. Okay. So an asset that you've got is potentially not going to feel very much like an asset, because this represents some outside force coming into the situation and blasting that mask off of your face, whether you like it or not. Okay. Now, given that negotiating, the mask and the different aspects of the self, taking the emotional self out of the situation is perhaps a difficulty. having that choice made for you by some outside force is going to feel, quite difficult, but it's coming up as an asset. Okay, so all I would say is, although times might feel difficult this coming week, you might be up against some difficulties. It's an asset to you. It's going to benefit you in the long run. Okay. Now, the last card is the Opportunities card, and we've got Dancer Princess, which is the Princess of Cups. Okay. Once you can, once you can get rid of that mask, you can let yourself go. V, are you? Do you feel as though you need to put on this? So, right, uh, just story time. I like people in my kind of normal. I say my muggle life, but like just like my work and pretty much my family. No one other than my partner and a select few people know that I do all this. Right? They don't know that I have this woo side to me. Okay, and I feel myself having to put on this kind of mask, and it's this mask. It's like the kind of intellectual self. I mask myself with my kind of earth and my air energies. See these kind of energies that are more palatable to a scientific type audience. That is what I feel myself. I feel myself putting on that mask, right? And do you have a similar? Do you find yourself in a similar situation? Because I'm feeling really strongly that that's kind of that's what this is kind of speaking to, or something similar. If you can take that kind of scenario and make it applicable to something that's going on with you, that's the kind of feeling that I'm getting. We've got the tower energy coming in and potentially just taking that mask away, whether you like it or not. Okay, so for me, my equivalent to that would be like, I don't know, someone discovering my channel, or me blurting out that I do all this kind of stuff. That would be the tower moment for me in my analogy and my example. But then coming up at the end, we've got the Dancer Princess. It's the Page of Cups, right? It's this kind of just letting go of all that adulting when it comes to your emotional self, all of that needing to be mature and responsible, and just being able to enjoy yourself, just not having to give a shit about all of this kind of stuff. And just, wow, I really banged that table there, didn't I? And just being able to kind of just be in yourself and be happy in yourself, and in your own heart, and just enjoy that side to you. So for me, enjoy the woo side of me, but for you, like, what do we think? Um, yeah. So there's the opportunity there to really kind of benefit from potentially the difficulty that we see here. But it's an opportunity. It's not a guarantee. So um, I guess it's kind of up to you to make the most of that opportunity. Again, like I said before, nighttime energy. Well, I suppose that's not sun or moon. It's just this big sucking vortex in the sky. We've got like kind of what feels like a very kind of lunar energy here. That's just like lightning, isn't it? And then we've got the sun coming up. So moving in a positive direction in terms of how we're feeling, which is always nice to see. Um, so yeah, you felt yourself having to live up to a certain external view of myself, and yes, in a similar situation to you, re your tarot. Hi, Sorsha, by the way, I hope you're doing okay. So yeah, I hope that resonated, V. Thank you. Okay, let's see. So we had V, and then we had Brittany wanted a week ahead reading as well. Jackie's getting Frozen stuck in all our heads. My niece has grown to really love Frozen. And she loves the Let It Go song, and she loves the bit. So in that song, when it's not Anna, Elsa, when Elsa sings it, the line "the cold doesn't bother me anyway," and then she flicks her cape off. So Sophie, my niece has been copying her. She's been doing that as well. She'll watch it and she'll just sit and watch for ages with this like kind of like blanket thing tied around her. And then when that bit of the song comes up, she goes whoosh. She loves it. Um, but yeah, sorry. Anyway, random story. Blame Jackie for the digression there. Okay, so Brittany, week ahead reading. Okay, Brittany. Okay, your strength is the dreamer, the air card. So this is like the Ace of Swords. Essentially, it's the Ace of Air. All right. So I envy you because I find it really hard. For me, this is about taking adopting that beginner mindset, right? When you're putting yourself into some new situation, when you're trying to learn something new, being able to adopt that beginner mindset, it's almost like kind of putting aside what you think you already know in order to get the most out of, the study session or the training and work or whatever it might be. But quite often the ego gets in the way. And it's like when when you're getting information thrown at you, your ego's kind of like, well, I know it better, or no, I thought it was this, or this is how I learned it. Being able to kind of just almost quiet that voice in your head and just approach it like, with a fresh mind, a fresh perspective. That is how people learn best. Okay, so this suggests to me that your strength is, adopting that beginner mindset and using that to your advantage to be able to take in new information and approach things in a dynamic and different way, and not just like kind of, throwing the same old method at each and every problem that you come up against. So that's that. I like to see that. That's a nice card there for your strengths. Um, my table camera is doing funny things again, but we'll just go with it. The next card is okay. So we've got a couple of aces here. So again, we see strength in the element of air, and limitation in the element of water. Okay, this is the Dancer, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Water. So your tool is your intellect. I would be interested to know whether whether you've got a lot of air in your chart, or you're an air sign, um, you know, because you seem to really excel when it comes to, using the intellectual and the logical mind. And you can do that in a way that, where the ego isn't getting in your way. And that's everybody's aim when it comes to the sort of air. It's gaining that understanding, but learning to control that ego in order to kind of almost maximize that understanding, you know. And the ego, like when you're coming up against the world, right? The lady that Jilly was live with at the weekend kind of talked a bit about this. When you're experiencing things in the world, the ego wants to define things and name things, and it almost kind of limits the experience, right? So if you come up against, I don't know, a dog, your brain thinks dog, and that might be it, and that's the ego. The ego's like, right, telling you that's a dog, move on. It's not thinking, right, man's best friend, you know, um, like friendly animal, all of these kind of things that we, if we allow ourselves to connect with our hearts and be in that moment and feel that's kind of shut off by the ego, you know. So where was I going with that? Was I just telling a random story? Kinda, yeah, I was, wasn't I? The Ace of Cups, the Ace of Water being in the kind of limitation position suggests that whilst, your strength lies in the intellect, there's maybe a bit of a struggle to connect. But for me, the Ace of Cups is about connecting with yourself, you know, putting yourself first and just learning to love yourself and not love yourself in a, oh, like that they pure love themselves, don't they? Not that kind of way. But if who's going to say it? The RuPaul quote: "If you can't love yourself, how are you going to love anyone else?" It's so true. The first step in being able to kind of form that connection with someone else is to actually just connect to the self. Okay, so for the week coming ahead, this is Brittany. I'm reading for Brittany. For the week coming ahead, uh, try and spend some time on this because this is coming up for a reason. Okay, this is telling me that you're putting your head before your heart, and it wants you to know that you maybe want to think about just balancing those scales a wee bit. I'm not saying you have to get the balance perfect, but just try and think about even in that balance a bit. It will make the week ahead for you a wee bit easier. An asset that you've got is Warrior 6. So this is like the six of wands. This is like the victory cards. The caption on the card is "No foe too great." So this suggests that in terms of the endeavors that the things that you're trying to achieve, there's a real promise of success there, right? But again, it's coming back to this connection. It's being able to really kind of feel the success and not just appreciate it with your head, if I'm making any sense at all. Um, it's been able to kind of, I mean, there's a strong aspect of the Six of Wands, or the Warrior Six, that's about connection. All of the sixes, they all link back to the lovers, don't they? So it's all about kind of harmony of opposites. You've got the person that's triumphed, the victor. They are celebrating their victory, and they're being cheered on by the crowd. They're getting something from the crowd. They're getting all of that glory, and they're able to feed off that energy. But equally, the crowd is able to feed off of the person in the Six of Wands who's won. They're able to live vicariously through their experience. So there's an exchange there. There's an exchange of energy, but we need to have the water side of ourselves, you know, in order before we can really fully appreciate that exchange. The opportunity card coming up. Well, there's definitely the potential for you to balance that because we've got the magician here. And the magician, if nothing else, is about balancing the elements. We see it represented here. He's got fire in his hands. He's got the merman's tail representing water. He's got the wings representing air, and his hair. It looks like the kind of branches of a tree to represent earth. So the magician is like the ultimate balance. He's the master of the four elements. So there's the potential for you to achieve this balance that you're looking for. But this message here, this is what I, I feel like you want to pay attention to. It's, just appreciate yourself, spend some time loving yourself so as that, you can really benefit from this connection and you can achieve this opportunity, which is to kind of, just become the master of your own will, and that you've balanced all the different aspects of yourself. Um, so yeah, I think that's your message of the week. It's to connect more with yourself. Let's see. Totally makes sense. You don't feel very successful right now. Okay, well, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that's how you feel. Um, this could be a metaphor for something, though. It could be an analogy. Y- Learn to can I appreciate sometimes appreciating the small victories, the small things in life, can give us a lot of joy. You know, but again, um, think about this emotional water element, um, and hopefully, just hopefully that can kind of help the situation. Um, but your last two cards, I see someone who's very successful and who's very kind of victorious and masterful. Is that a word? Um, so yeah, I don't think I had any more requests, did I? Oh gosh, that chat jumped. Um, so let's see. Deanne, if you're still here, give me a shout if there's anyone else that I'm waiting on. Thank you, by the way. Sandy just brought me a cup of tea. Let me see if I can catch up with the chat then. And Deanne, I trust you'll shout at me if I need to be shouted at. um, if I forgot anyone. Oh gosh, the chat jumped miles. Okay, so Antoinette, almost scared to take the move for fear of falling. Oh, sorry, fear of failing and looking stupid. So do that whole hobby that could be a business or not. I don't want to get screwed over by Pan. Yeah, totally. Um, jewellery with that Pan/devil energy, one can wind up pregnant and the guy skips town. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Um, I'm glad that made sense. I'm sorry, guys. I know that I'm way behind, and it must be quite annoying for you to listen to me reading comments that you made like half an hour ago. I just want to kind of try and make a wee effort to catch myself up. Um, Robin, I want to run and bathe in my new card. See you all soon. Enjoy, Robin. Uh, Regina, I want to ask about showing my face on things, but it feels like a goofy question to ask, so anxious about doing it. Just done it, just not on YouTube. I didn't read for you, Regina, did I? Or did you decide that you weren't going to kind of ask the question? Because I'd be more than happy to read for it. Um, but I say, come on and let us all see your beautiful face, is my opinion. Um, so Nancy said it was insightful. That's good. I'm glad to hear that, Nancy. Um, Nerys, I remember seeing your comments. See, I've got two chats here. I've got the StreamYard chat and I've got the, the YouTube chat. And the YouTube is the one that I'm now kind of working my way through. And the StreamYard, Sue's asking if I've got time for one more. I sure do. Oh, and I can see that Deanne's saying Regina, please. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly scroll down so I can. I'm looking for orange here, right? So if you've tried to get my attention, I think I've still got Regina and I've got who just said, "Oh, you get time for one more." Sue, Regina, and Sue. If I've got anyone else still to read for, then Deanne, let me know. And if anyone has made a comment that that you want me to see that I've not got to, then tag me, or well, probably tag me is best. So Sarah says that was basically last 5 years dealing with husband's stroke. Right, okay, I'm so sorry to hear that. And I hope that your husband's doing better now, Sarah. Oh, there's our lovely Jen Henry. Says, hey, Chris and all. Just looking for orange. Sarah, I've got to go help with the dinner, but thank you again for the reading. Good night, everyone. It was great to hang out. You're very welcome for your reading, and thank you so much for being here. Okay, so Regina, I was next. I was asking about showing my face on YouTube. I guess I want to know how that will go if I do it. Okay, let's have a wee nosy. And then we've got Sue, and then we'll probably call it a night after the lovely Sue. Okay. Oh gosh, that wasn't a very successful shuffle, was it? So what have we got to say about Regina showing her face on the tubes? So we've got the Emperor coming up right away. Now, the Emperor tells me that there's that it's to do with control, right? It's to do with having that. It feels like you're holding on to some element of control that you feel that the Emperor gives you. And it's almost like showing your face would be like kind of letting go of an aspect, right? You feel as though you would maybe lose an element of control if you were to show your face. That's what the Emperor says to me. But the Emperor is also this, again, I said earlier on, this fiery Aries energy. There's a lot of confidence in our energy, in our Emperor. The Han Solo quote from Star Wars, what is it? Okay, kid, don't get cocky. The Emperor can be a very cocky energy, but in the best possible way, especially for the nature of your question, Regina. So, don't worry so much about, if it is, if you feel as though, showing your face is going to you're going to lose some element of, just safety, security, or control. Try and embody those confident aspects of the Emperor, those kind of sure of himself, wee bit cocky, knows his strengths. That's their Emperor. And that's, I think, what this card is asking you to embody. We've got Maker Princess coming up, okay? Like the Page of Pentacles, essentially. And this is the gift of creativity. So again, like, this person acts with purpose, okay? Now, it might be a kind of a new type energy, and just when I'm saying that, we're talking about, it's almost like taking a different step, taking the next step with your channel, showing your face on it, okay? So it would be this kind of, it's appropriate that we see a page coming up, or a princess coming up, because we're talking about kind of delving into something new, diving into something new, finding yourself in different territory. Okay, the Maker Princess is, still quite a cautious energy. Okay, so we'll still get that element of caution coming through. Maybe again, caution about losing that element of safety and control. But the Maker Princess is asking you to kind of weigh up the pros and cons, okay? Because she doesn't do anything unless there's something in it for her, okay? So look at it, ask yourself, what am I going to get out of this if I do it? What are all the possible positives and what are the negatives? Okay, and just weigh up your options. Look at it kind of in a very down to earth, logical way. I'm not saying you have to make a physical list, but like just have a wee think to yourself about it. Spend some time one afternoon, with a cup of tea and just have a think. Right, what is it that I'm actually scared of here? What's going to happen? What's the worst that could happen? And what's the best that could happen? And again, it's about that risk benefit analysis. Um, Dancer three of cups coming out as the outcome. Jubilance. I mean, forming those connections, and I think that I know in me, it's easier to connect with someone when you can see their face, when you can see the expression on their face, when you can see them speaking. Sometimes, I think to a degree we don't realize how much we rely on like kind of reading someone's lips, their body language, all things like that. These things are all, so being face to face with the people that you're reading for and your audience that you're connecting with are all conducive to forming these connections that we see in Dancer 3. Okay, because we're talking water, we're talking these emotional connections to other people, right? And 3 is growth. Okay, 3 is making shit real. 3 is making this happen. Okay, so I say go for it because there's this real positive energy coming in at the end there if you do. Okay, it's like really kind of strengthening that connection to your audience and maybe even growing your audience as well. Okay, which can't be a bad thing. Alrighty, Regina. I hope that this makes sense and I hope that that resonates with you. And I hope that I'm happy with that reading. That's a nice wee positive ending there. So it is. So I hope that you are too. And we had Sue. So you've got a job interview tomorrow. Do the cards think this opportunity would suit me? Sorry, I was just looking to see if Regina had mentioned. So Regina, let me know if that. I suppose the outcome card, the 3 of the Dancer 3 was a kind of more of a, I suppose it's like a future card, isn't it? So it's not going to resonate. But I'm interested in whether what I was saying about the Emperor and the Maker Princess. I'm interested in whether they resonate with you and what you thought about that. So you said that there's a huge element of caution around it for you, right? Okay. Okay. So we'll do Sue's reading and then we'll maybe call it an evening. Oh, look, it's Jonathan. How are you, Mr. Jonathan? Okay. Sue wants to know if the job interview she's going for tomorrow is going to suit. Okay. We've got Maker King, we've got the King of Pentacles as the situation card. This suggests someone who is very much in their element, very much a kind of king of their castle, a master of, what it is that they're trying to do. And in particular, the King of Pentacles is, I should stop saying King of Pentacles, I should read the card as it is, Maker King, and it's the gift of skill. Do I even need to kind of read into it any more than that? Skill. That to me answers the question, but let's see what the advice and outcome cards are. We've got Warrior 3, okay. So Warrior 3 is like the 3 of Wands, and the key word is alignment. So again, this is looking quite positive. For me, the 3 of Wands shows you taking steps to put yourself out there. So it does. It's like a passion that you're now taking physical steps towards. And it's a really kind of positive energy. We see this really vibrant sun coming up behind. In the king, we see his crown has this kind of fiery energy coming off of it. Excuse me. And then the outcome that we've got is Dancer Prince, Gift of Passions. This is like our Knight of Cups. So this suggests, gaining the ability to really form and act on connections to other people. Okay. I think the answer is it is going to be a really good suit for you, because we see this skill and this alignment card coming out. Okay, we see this kind of mastery, you get this mastery feel from the King of Pentacles, very much in control of all of the things that keep his kingdom secure. In control of his finances, his health as well. This is someone who's in a really good space. All right. The Warrior 3, for me, the 3 of Wands always comes up when it's like I'm thinking, should I do this thing? The 3 of Wands came up for me on the day that the very first day that I did a YouTube live, and it was with a different channel at that time. It was with Cross Paths. On that day, I got the 3 of Wands, and that was like the go for it, just fucking go for it card. For me, that's what that means. So that's what I want to say to you. So just fucking go for it. Pardon my French. Yeah, it's like kind of spurring you on. It's like it's saying, go for it, go for it. This is for you. You can really kind of make something of this if you want to. It's a 3, so there's work to be done. It's not like a guarantee of overall success, but it's like you can do this if you want to put in the work. Then there's guaranteed success there. And then we have this kind of Dancer Prince coming in at the end. Now, I normally associate, it's like the Knight of Cups, I normally associate that with, it's a much more emotional card. It's much more, it's a kind of energy that I far more expect to see in like kind of relationship type readings. And I'm kind of half tempted to say, to ask, is there the possibility that it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship, but making kind of new friends, connecting with new people. That's what I see happening here. We're coming to the end of this pandemic. We're hopefully getting to the stage soon where we're not all just stuck in our houses, where we can go out and work, whether it's in offices or whatever it is that you're going to be doing. And we can really connect to people again, whether that's connecting with customers or connecting with colleagues. We can really just kind of start being our like social butterfly selves again. That's what I see coming out here. It might be that there's a wee bonus positive message in there for you. I'll leave that for you to decide and discern, Sue. But yeah, I think that's a really positive kind of message for you in terms of the job interview that you're going for tomorrow. So I hope that was okay for you. Let me just kind of quickly catch up on the comments here. You're very welcome. Sue, she says, thank you so much. You're so welcome. Thank you so much for being here and for asking the question. I love it when you do, it's not a chore for me. This is always a pleasure, never a chore, as the saying goes, but it's very much true for me, doing these readings with you. Nancy, thank you, Chris. This has been such a great. Oh, thank you so much. That's really kind of you to say. Um, I won't read your compliment out because my face will go red. Um, Jonathan says, I saw Emily doing a reading once. She pulled one of these cards, a card from the Transparent Tarot and a card from the Transparent Oracle. It was amazing. It's pretty cool. I'm going up the way now, as you can probably tell. Let's see. Jonathan's saying his hellos to everyone. Or his alohas, sorry. So Diane is saying Three of Cups is a wonderful outcome to Regina. And you're so happy to see the Three of Cups coming up. Jonathan's got to move to his phone. Apollo wants me to sit next to him for schoolwork. I'm going to have to get this deck, aren't I? I would highly recommend it. I actually am. You've probably heard me saying this. I'm thinking about getting another copy and trimming it just down to the images. I want to keep this because I do really like this with the kind of keywords and there's not a lot of decks that I can abide having keywords on, but these are amazing. And I love the book as well. It's like a medium white book, but it's got like these wee poems. So I'll read out the Warrior 3 poem actually, just so as you can see what I mean, because I think they're amazing. Doesn't have a shit ton of information, but so Warrior 3, the alignments dawn a magical time as sun and moon and stars entwine. The gate is opened in the east, a threefold sum of power increased. And then it gives keywords being teamwork, collaboration, potential, movement, achievement. So I think it's amazing. That's for the minors. The majors have got a lot more. You've got 2 pages worth for the majors, but I love the wee poems that come with the minors. I always make a point in reading them for my cards of the day. So yeah, in answer to your question, Jonathan, yeah, definitely, I would highly recommend it. And this was only what 16, 17 pounds for me on Amazon. It's not dear, and I got it next day delivery. Um, Jackie's been my cheerleader as usual. Thank you so much, Jackie. Um, Brittany says, thank you so much for the live. Your reading was spot on. Oh, thank you so much, Brittany. I'm glad you enjoyed the reading and thank you so much for being here. It's lovely to see you and it was a pleasure to read for you. Definitely trim this for aesthetic, but I can also see why you'd love the alternative titles, says Sorsha. Yeah, so I love having these, but I agree. I'd like to have a copy of it that's trimmed as well. So I might do, and I've edged this one in black, and it's turned out really well. The black edging's perfect. Normally I'm a bit funny way, I find that the corners look, if you're not careful, the corners can look a different colour. They look darker because you've gone over them more times, but this is turned out perfect. Although I'm now seeing that so the card stock isn't the best. That's the only thing with this deck. You can see there that I'm going to need to go over that. But anyway, I'm yapping. Jen says, yes, Chris, I have one I trimmed the sides off and one that I trimmed naked. It's beautiful bear, but I do really love the keywords on the deck. Um, we're encouraging Sue and Jonathan to get it now. Nancy just trimmed the sides and edged it black. Excellent. Sasha loves the backs as well. Yeah, so we've got the Great Glyph of the She on the back. So this is like the portal between our world and the world of the She. So it's nice, like it's quite relevant to have that to kind of meditate on. Just kind of stare into and clear your mind and just get into that zone where you're going to kind of read in that space. So it's funny because Jen's just said, "So you're talking to the Queen of Rambling here," and here's me rambling on. Um, we're at 5 minutes past 11 here, so I'm going to love yous all and leave yous. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Look out for my video that I'll be putting out, a very quick video through the week just to explain all that Mary Ale stuff again. But yeah, I'm planning on starting that this month, in the kind of last week of the month. So I'll film a video through the week explaining exactly, how it's going to look and what format it's going to take and all that kind of thing. Um, Please support Brant's Kickstarter if you haven't already. Let me just paste that in again very quickly. And yeah, I think that's us, guys. Take care, everyone. If I don't speak to you over the weekend, I hope you have an amazing time. And yeah, see you all later. Bye.